Good afternoon, everyone. May I ask you to stand for a moment, please? In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, amen. Lord, we thank you for the gift of life that we take for granted. This afternoon, we thank you especially for our excellent students, their parents, their teachers, and for all the Rotarians of this club, the Rotary Club of St. Vincent, as we all work together to build excellence in our society. We thank you for the gifts, the talents that you give to us, the ones that we recognize and the ones that we take for granted. And as we prepare to enjoy our celebration this afternoon and to enjoy fellowship and food together, we ask you to bless us, O Lord, and these thy gifts, which we're about to receive from your goodness through Christ our Lord. Amen. Thank you.
Thank you, Pastor Denjo. Be seated, please.
Seated, okay, thanks. Thank you.
And I will ask our Rotarians present to repeat the Rotary code known as the four-way test. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? The next item on the program is a loyal toast. But nobody has a glass in front of them. So I'm going to ask you to rise once more. Raise your right hand. And say, to Queen and Country.
The Queen and Country.
I thank you. Please be seated.
I'll now ask President-elect Vernon to give us the attendance, please.
President Collins, Acting President Collins, fellow Rotarians, ladies and gentlemen, we have present with us at the moment 7 Rotarians, but they are continuing to arrive, and as they arrive, we'll let you know. Thank you.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, dignitaries. We welcome you this afternoon to the special function where we honor students of excellence who are the future of our nation. We thank all those of you who made it possible to be with us this afternoon. In terms of our fellowship, there is not too much to report, except that past President Joe and his wife will be celebrating an anniversary on Saturday, and I do not know whether he wishes for all of us to attend that celebration. You speak to the gentleman in the back and you can find out whether we are all invited. Invited after the celebration. We thank you very much. I am substituting for President Ken Unu, who cannot be here because of professional responsibility. And so I am substituting for him. We are greatly appreciative of those of you who participate with us each year, and for all of the students who are here and those whom will be bringing addresses and greetings and presentation. I now call on the Senior Education Officer for Secondary Schools, Mr. City Hall, to bring remarks to us at this time.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. I address all the distinguished members of the Rotary Club at the head table, Lady Phillips, whose husband we are honoring with this special event. I bring you greetings from the Ministry of Education, and I wish to express our gratitude for this annual gesture. I call it a motivational lunch for our fourth formers who have been performing excellently. At this time, the Ministry of Education is involved in the assessment of the system, assessment of our students at all levels, be it the Common Entrance level, the CSEC level. It is assessment time. For you fourth formers, it will be your turn in the next year or so. I always take this opportunities like these, to appeal to a special group of stakeholders in education, some of whom are here today, and that's the parents. It's my belief, parents, that that sector still needs to do more in terms of getting involved in the education of the students. It is my belief, from where I sit in the Ministry of Education, that parenting is one of the most serious problems we have with our students at school. Everything, unfortunately, I have to tell you, everything goes right back to what happens in the home. But in forums like these, I am speaking to the converted. The fact that you are here, it is those parents who do not show up to functions like these or at PTA meetings that we need to reach. I want to congratulate you parents here for playing your role in the success of your children so far. Give yourselves a round of applause. I can report that the school system is being asked to play that role of parenting, and it is very difficult for the teachers to deliver the curriculum, and this impedes educational progress. Again, I wish to thank very much Lady Phillips, the Rotary Club, and I see we have some additional sponsors of this program this year: Admiralty Transport, KDLT, Bank of St. Vincent, and GA. And I am sure that the sponsorship done will grow from strength to strength, because corporate society recognizes the need to support our young people. The Ministry of Education cannot do it alone. And I'm really here to say thank you to the Rotary and all those associated with this event. Thank you very much.
Our next speaker is past President Dr. Jules Ferdinand, who will come to the podium and address us at this time.
Thank you very much. Members of the head table, ladies and gentlemen, students, friends all, it really is a pleasure and an honor for me to spend the next few minutes just chit-chatting with you about this George Phillips, whose name is attached to this award ceremony. If George were here, he would be especially pleased to see each and every one of you, but there was one person I'm sure that George would have made his way over to have a chat with. Could you guess who that one person is? I don't mean his wife. I mean, he certainly would have done that. But the young man near the television camera over there with the little child in his hands. I had a little chat with him. Could you just stand and show us what you're holding in your hands? Just stand if you can. Give him a round of applause. And I draw your attention to that and why George would have appreciated that, because so very often we think that childcare is a female thing. but childcare is a people thing, male and female. And we thank this young man for the care that he has been giving to his little niece. The way he was paying attention to her, I thought it was his little sister. But he told me it's his little niece, and we cousin. Oh Lord, I'm promoting him inside there, his little cousin. George Phillips, and this award. And for those of you who can see over in the screen there, we would use that as we go by because George Phillips is featured heavily there. And what can we share about this outstanding man? George, you see his photograph up in the right-hand top corner there. And George was a man who I would say demonstrated what I would coin as the 3 H's. Humor, humility, and that humanitarian spirit. In today's world, we need to be reminded of this. Success is not only measured by academic achievement. Success must also be measured by the way we care for each other. And so George demonstrated that. When you talk about humor, that was George. He had this unique way of being able to laugh at himself. And I always recall that whenever we were in his presence, especially when we had committee meetings, even if that committee meeting ended at midnight, even if it ended at 1 o'clock in the morning, George would share some outstanding story which was filled with humor. Time would not allow us to go through those, but to understand and appreciate. Humor is still important. Humility, regardless of how high you climb. And this is especially to you students who have achieved much at the 4th form level. Never ever think that you're better than anybody else because of your achievement. But for the grace of God, we could have been in a different place, in a different location. So we accept the award, but with humility. And we use the talents and abilities that God has blessed us with to do humanitarian service. And George would have liked that. So we bring George center stage. And what an honor, what a privilege it is for you now, and I'm speaking to the students, to accept an award that carries his name. But a little bit more about George. I find this quotation from Goldie Hawn so very fitting of George. Once you can laugh at your own weaknesses, you can move forward. And every one of us, though we have many strengths, we also have weaknesses. We are not perfect. Comedy breaks down walls. It opens up people. If you're good, you can fill up those openings with something positive. Maybe you can combat some of the ugliness of the world. So we embrace that, and we embrace this goodness, and we go forward as good stewards. George Phillips, born in 1928. He would have been in his early 80s this year, 84. Attended the St. Vincent Grammar School, and while there, he did exceptionally well. As an academic, he was outstanding, but he was also an outstanding athlete. Performed extremely well as a student, but also as an athlete. He used that talent, those talents, as he went off to Canada in those days to study. He went to the University of Guelph in Ontario, Canada, where he did exceptionally well. And it is while there, he was captain and an outstanding member of athletics groups and also cricket and soccer teams that were now emerging in Canada. Canada is not one of those places where cricket is that popular. It is now just getting in to soccer as a game, but back then in those days, George was championing those causes. Those of us who were very close to him knew him as Black Magic. Black Magic, largely because of the pigmentation of his skin. George, if you were to do the comparison, was probably blacker than any one of us in here. But you know what I mean. He had very dark pigmentation. And one of the things with George is that he never let that blackness make him feel that he was inferior to anyone else. Neither did he use that blackness and his intelligence and his athletic prowess to make himself feel that he was better than anybody else. George was an ordinary, simple person giving humanitarian service. But that black magic, I'm told, came from the fact that, yes, black coming from his pigmentation, but the way George moved on the field, it was like magic. He was fast, he was quick. And so black magic was the name that was assigned to him. From Canada, he also spent some time in Curacao and Aruba, and it was there that he also continued to excel in athletics and especially in high jump. He then migrated to England, and in England he did some additional studies in the field that he loved so well, horticulture, agriculture, and then he came back to the Caribbean. He came back to the Caribbean, and he worked in Grenada for a number of years. I want to draw your attention to his accomplishment in Grenada. Hey, go back. Yes, his accomplishment in Grenada. George designed the zoo in Grenada. And we are told, and it is recorded, that at the time when that zoo was designed and commissioned, it was the best designed zoo in all of the Commonwealth. Here it is, a Vincentian getting that kind of recognition throughout the Commonwealth. And so George would like me to tell you, you students, don't underestimate your ability to influence what happens in the region, to influence what happens in the Commonwealth, to influence what happens in the world. We may be from a small place, but everybody begins from that small place. And so we must excel as we go forward. George, black magic. He returned to St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and his interest continued in horticulture. He especially liked taking care of dogs, and the German Shepherd was actually his preferred animal. George was a man who, however interested in these areas, he never forgot what it was like to give humanitarian service, and he was one of those persons who had been instrumental in starting this Rotary Club. He was the first president of this club, and so we refer to him as the charter president. We only have one other member from that team, and please join me in recognizing Bob Haydock, who is still a member of our club, but was also a member of the club back then. I don't know where George bathes. You know what I'm getting at? He bathed in some kind of special spring to keep looking so young. He has this youthful appearance, and he's always active as a Rotarian, but he was back then with the initial club. George is known for his efforts, untiring efforts in securing scholarships for our people. And many of our youngsters back in those days would give George credit for the scholarships that he sought to get from the UK, from Canada, and other places where it was possible. His focus, as I wrap up, this George, this tower of a man, academic excellence. As good as you are, you can be better. And I say this to you fourth formers, as you aim for excellence in the fifth form, it is possible to get grade 1 in every single subject that you write. But it would not happen by wishful thinking. You have to work for it. You have to study for it from now. You can't wait until 2 weeks before to try to get it in. And so you are in a good position. You are on the launching pad. Make us all proud of you as you go forward for academic excellence. But he also stressed the importance of character. Things like honesty and humility. Things like caring for other people. And this is why I addressed the young man there. Even as you strive for excellence in academia, you must also strive for it in other areas of your life. And so especially to the young men who are with us, don't put your parents on guilt trip to say, if I wash up the ways, or if I wash this or wash that, it didn't cut back on my study time. You will find that as you go out of your way to do these extra chores in the house, you seem to excel academically too. That is one of the strange things about life. So don't try those tricks as you go forward. I see some parents watching their children and laughing and so on. And I suspect that when they reach home, the parent will say, you hear what that man Jules said? You know. So yes, you get up early in the morning and you make up your own bed. Yeah, you sweep, you mop, and all of that as we go through. George Phillips, the person that we recognize. And may you, as he did, strive for excellence in academia, but also in the softer things of life. I thank you for the privilege of addressing you.
Thank you very much, past President Jules Ferdinand. From what we've heard, evidently George was a great man. And it was Luther Martin King who said, all of us cannot be famous, but all of us can be great, because greatness is achieved from service. And evidently he was a man who served. I now call on the acting President, Dr. Colin Boyle, to bring the official greeting and welcome in place of President Ken Unu.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'd like, on behalf of Dr. Kenneth Unu, the president of our club, to bring brief remarks to you all. Now, today is possible because of a collaborative effort between our club, the Rotary Club of St. Vincent, the Ministry of Education, represented by C.P. Hall. As I was saying a while ago, I said I'm a representative of the Ministry of Education, but also official entertainer, because he's one of our premier entertainers in the country. And of course, we have the Bank of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, the secondary schools, and other sponsors. Today's a day when we recognize the excellence of our food farmers. And when I say excellence, I mean all-round excellence involves academics and well-rounded personalities. I would like to give you a brief rundown on what the Rotary Club is. I'm sure we all would have heard sometime or the other, especially you hear about the Rotary Club. Our club was chartered, as Dr. Ferdinand was saying, some years ago, exactly 41 years ago. And of all the charter members, as he mentioned, we have Bob with us today, only charter member in the club right now. And from our club, we should spawn other clubs like the Rotary Club of St. Vincent South and the Rotary Club of Beckway. So we now have 3 Rotary clubs in St. Vincent and Grenadines. The world's first service club was the Rotary Club of Chicago in Illinois, USA. The club was formed on the 23rd of February, 1905 by a lawyer called Paul Harris and 3 friends, a merchant, a coal dealer, and a mining engineer. Harris wished to recapture the friendly spirit he had felt among business people in the small town where he had grown up. The name Rotary was derived from the early practice of rotating meetings among members' offices. In each office, they would rotate the meetings. The main objective of Rotary is service in the community, in the workplace, and throughout the world. Rotarians build goodwill and peace, provide humanitarian service, and encourage high ethical standards in all vocations. The Rotary motto is service above self. Rotarians are professional men and women who work as volunteers to improve the quality of life in the home and world community. Club members represent a cross-section of local businesses and professional leaders. The World's Rotary Club meet weekly, and we are non-political, non-religious, and open to all cultures, races, and creed. There are approximately 1.2 million Rotarians working in some 29,600 Rotary clubs, in 163 countries, and 35 geographical regions worldwide. We first admitted into the Rotary clubs in 1987 women, and now women are the fastest growing segment of Rotary membership. There are nearly 2,000 women club presidents, and women are rapidly assuming regional leadership roles. One of the most talked about projects that the Rotary Club has embarked on is actually something called the project called Polio Plus, which is Rotary's commitment to eradicating polio through the effort of Rotary and its partners in the fight against polio. More than 2 billion children worldwide have been immunized since 1985. In 1986, 159 nations reported no cases of polio, up from 85 when the Polio Plus began. Of equal significance is a huge volunteer army mobilized by Rotary International for social mobilization, vaccine transport, and immunization activities. Ladies and gentlemen, those are some of the activities that the Rotary Club worldwide has undertaken, and we're still doing as much as we can to improve the lives of our community. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Acting President Colin Boyle. I hope that all of you are more familiar with the work of Rotary and its impact in our nation and around the world. I now call on Rotarian Errol Allen to introduce our featured speaker this afternoon. I know this person who's coming to the platform is not Errol Allen. She's far more beautiful than he is. So enjoy the presentation this afternoon.
Thank you. Mrs. Ruby Phillips, Senior Education Officer, Mr. C.P. Hall, other members of the head table, distinguished sport formers and their parents, teachers and supporters, our friends from the media, fellow Rotarians, other invited guests, good afternoon. It is my distinct pleasure to introduce you to our featured speaker, Mr. Fitz Reuben John. Mr. John was educated at the St. Vincent Grammar School and the St. Vincent and the Grenadines Community College. He holds a Bachelor of Science honors degree in accounting from the University of the West Indies. He was the treasurer of the Vincentian Student Association and treasurer of the Sir Philip Sherlock Hall of Residence. He is a member of the Association of Chartered Certified Accountants and has worked regionally in St. Kitts, Barbados, and Grenada. He is currently an audit senior at KPMG Eastern Caribbean, Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Fitzreuben John.
Thank you. Senior Education Officer, Mr. C.P. Hall, Mrs. Phillips, Acting President of the Rotary Club of St. Vincent, Dr. Boyle, members of the Rotary Club of St. Vincent, food farmers, teachers, parents, invited guests, good afternoon. It gives me great pleasure to extend to you a heartfelt welcome on behalf of the Rotary Club of St. Vincent to the 2012 annual George Phillips Award, which is held in honor of a very outstanding past president of the Rotary Club of St. Vincent, Mr. George Phillips. I would also like to take this opportunity to express my appreciation to the club for inviting me to be the featured speaker for this very important event. The George Phillips Excellence Award recognizes the outstanding academic performance of fourth form students throughout St. Vincent and the Grenadines. This award is an annual event that has been hosted by the Rotary Club for over 19 years and leaves a legacy of exceptional individuals that excelled in terms of their academic performance, overall personal development, and their contribution to the development of the country. Like George Phillips, the Rotary Club of St. Vincent envisions a society where every young person should be afforded the opportunity to develop and blossom. In this regard, the club continues its commitment to provide a variety of programs to the young people in St. Vincent and the Grenadines that are aimed at assisting them as they make decisions about career choices and prepare to move from learning institutions to the workplace. The club assists students on career guidance as well as the development of interpersonal and other soft skills that are critical to their own personal development. A few years ago, while I was a fourth form student, my colleagues and I were faced with same decisions that you have to make today. The courses we selected for CXC and the quality of work we produced assisted us in achieving the level of success we have attained on our career path so far. This transition from a student to a young professional is a critical phase of a longer journey that will take each of you to various stages or paths in life. In retrospect, on my journey, I encountered a number of challenges which I was able to overcome. At the same time, there were opportunities which I grasped with both hands and capitalized on. These experiences have all contributed to my present accomplishments. There are 5 key elements that I wish to share with you today that can be considered as essential tools that would assist you in your journey as you aspire to succeed in life. They are planning and goal setting, keeping focused, keeping a balance, coping with failures and setbacks, and completion of tasks and celebrating accomplishments. The first and most important phase of any journey is the planning stage. Before embarking on a trip, you must determine where you want to go and how you intend to get there. You must decide in the short, medium, and long term what you want to be and what you want to accomplish by way of career. Determine the type of individual you want to be in life. The best way to do this is to set goals that will point you in the right direction. Goals will also help you to determine when you have arrived or if you have gotten off the track. At this stage, the guidance from parents, teachers, and role models is an integral part of this decision. The late Thomas Edison said, "You can't realize your dreams unless you have one to begin with." I recall at the end of my third form, we were all faced with the choice of selecting the subjects that we wanted to write for CXC. Naturally, my friends and I decided that we were all going to do the same thing, sciences. Later that evening, when I informed my parents of my choice, I was faced with questions that I could not answer. What is your preferred profession? What subjects have you attained the highest grades? Have you considered these in making your final decision? At this point, I was simply lost. I realized that I hadn't put any real thought into my options. The next day, I had discussions with my teachers, and my father organized meetings with a few business professionals and other family members who all aided in my final decision. After all of my research and mentoring, I knew that I wanted to be a certified accountant. I was confident that the foundation for my career was cemented with the choices that I made that day. You need to ensure that as you plan, you set goals that are specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and timely. It is also important that you give yourselves deadlines for achieving tasks and work towards your goals. Your ability to focus on matters that are critical to the attainment of your goals will determine to a large extent whether certain goals can be accomplished. This is the second essential element of your journey. As young adolescents, you are faced with countless distractions from peers, technology, and sometimes personal issues. These hurdles are inevitable and faced by everyone who is on the path to success, since temptation to procrastinate is always easier to succumb to. Knowing this, you have to set priorities and try your best to limit distractions. Surround yourselves with positive people who motivate you, understand your aspirations, and appreciate your sacrifices. In secondary school, I had 5 very good friends. We all had success at the forefront of our priorities, and we were proud to state our goals and aspirations. Presently, we are as close as ever, and each of us has accomplished similar levels of achievements. That's the power of positive influence. The next essential element in your journey to success is keeping a balance. An exceptional individual is one who not only excels academically, but one who communicates and relates well with others and lives a balanced life. Extracurricular activities including sports, team building programs such as Young Leaders, Scouts, Girl Guides, involvement in the church and community groups contribute to the development of these soft skills. It is imperative that you integrate these activities with your studies and later on in your life with your jobs. While in secondary school, I engaged in piano classes, played tennis, and at the same time took part in church activities. I was able to excel in all of these areas while maintaining top position in class, not falling behind 5th place. The secret was maintaining a schedule and ensuring it was followed. Once this was done, everything fell into place. These skills will be an asset as you progress in life, especially in the workplace. A well-balanced individual is able to interact better on the job with superiors, peers, customers, and the general public. The ability to communicate with others, follow instructions, and work well with others are all interpersonal skills that efficient employees must possess. While on your journey, you may encounter unforeseen challenges, unexpected setbacks, failures, and uncontrolled situations that may impact your performance. These negative externalities may in rare cases lead to disappointing results that as humans would discourage or demotivate. Henry Ford, the founder of Ford Motor Company in the USA, once said, "Failure is an opportunity to begin again more intelligently." Although drawbacks do not always lead to failures, it is good to have an open mind and stay focused on your goals. In some cases, you may have to revisit your plan and make adjustments to cater for them. It is better to try and fail than not to try at all. Failures cause one to reflect on his or her life. A prime example from my experience would be during my years at the A-level college. Our class was somewhat disadvantaged given that we did not have a lecturer for one of our courses. This made it difficult to follow the syllabus and succeed in the exam. It was unfortunate and out of our control essentially, and most of us failed the first year examination. I had an option to discontinue the course or attend private classes during my vacation to earn enough credit to obtain a passing grade. It was at this point that I had to revisit my plan. I kept my goal at the forefront, decided to take the extra classes and continue with the course. Throughout my journey, I also had to contend with death and illness within my close family and friend circles. These circumstances were all out of my control, and I was able to pull through with faith in God and support from my family and close friends. The completion stage is the last and most critical stage. I like to call it the result stage. It is effectively the realization of all of your hard work. As you approach the end of your journey, you will feel a sense of accomplishment, knowing that you have worked hard and committed time, effort, and finances in order to achieve your goals. It is important to celebrate your accomplishments and show appreciation to all persons that have supported you along the way. These include teachers, parents, and other friends. Let them feel a part of your success. Let them know how important you value their contribution. I would like to take this opportunity once again to congratulate the students on their nominations and parents and teachers for their guidance. In closing, I would like to share a quote from the late Albert Einstein. Bear in mind that the wonderful things you learn in schools are the work of many generations, produced by enthusiastic efforts and infinite labor in every country of the world. All of this is put into your hands as your inheritance in order that you may receive it, honor it, add to it, and one day faithfully hand it to your children. Thus do we mortals achieve immortality in the permanent things that we create in common. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Reuben John. Perhaps you can sum up what he has said to us this afternoon in the words of someone who said, if you aim at nothing, you will hit it every time. At this time, I'm going to ask Mrs. Ruby Phillips to join me in giving out the presentation. And as we call your name, you will please come and receive the presentations. Also, I would like to invite Ms. Lydia Williams, who is the Marketing and Public Relations Officer of the St. Vincent, the Bank of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. I tried to tell her and convince her that I was a school child and should be given that $100 deposit as well, and she did not take me up on it. As I call your name, will you come quickly? And I will call the names in alphabetical order. And first we have Kyla Barrett. Would you come, please? Followed by Tashana Bob. And Kyla Barrett is from the St. Vincent Girls High School. Yes. Put your hands together. Shine Award from Mountain View Adventist Academy. Followed by Michel de Freitas from St. Joseph's Convent, Kingstown. As you realize, they're all starting off with a bank book that is not empty but has money attached to their names. Varen Brown of the Thomas Saunders Secondary School is the next. Followed by Tishon Edwards from P.T. Bordell Secondary School. The next is Maxwell Exeter, Union Island Secondary School. And then Joshua Gooding from St. Joseph's Convent, Mariaqua. Melanie Grant of the Beckway Seventh-day Adventist Secondary School, get ready to come. And the students are asked not to go to the bank and withdraw the funds immediately. Glens 4, Gums, would you prepare and come, please, to the platform of the Bethel High School. Condisha Harewood of Trumaca, Ontario Secondary School. Jacinda Jackson of the Central Leeward Secondary School. And Kyle James of the St. Vincent Boys Grammar School. Jared James from the Beckway Community High School is next. Jared is followed by Kozraya John of the Intermediate Secondary School. And the reason that the pictures are being taken is that Miss Williams will be expecting these students to come into the bank every month to make a deposit. The next is Denane Johnson of Emmanuel High School, Mespo. Who's followed by Zimran King of Dr. J.P. Eustace Memorial School. Kira Knights from New Adelphi Secondary School. Who will be followed by Sylvain Lavier from the North Union Secondary School. Desrin Lawrence of St. Martin's Secondary School, please be prepared to come next. Desrin will be followed by Floyd McDowell of the George Stevens Secondary School. Is Floyd McDowell in the house? Kenny Moses of the Bookerman Bay Secondary School. And Kenesha Nanton from the Sandy Bay Secondary School, be prepared to come next, please. Kenesha Nanton, are you in the house? Shanroll Nelson of the Georgetown Secondary School, would you please come? Followed by Marvet Pierre of Bishop's College, Kingstown. Nyasha Robinson, be prepared to come next from St. Clair Dakin Secondary School. And Erika Williams, will you come next, please? From West St. George Secondary School. The final recipient is Walford Thompson from the St. Vincent Grammar School. You can't fault a guy for trying. Money is money from any source. And now we would like to call Mr. Rotarian Bob Haydock to give the vote of thanks. He's a charter member of the Rotary Club, if you've heard before, and the past president also of the Rotary Club of Kingstown.
Acting President Colin Boyle, Mrs. Ruby Phillips, my friend C.P. Hall, and Miss Lydia Williams. This event is a very important one to us in the Rotary Club of St. Vincent. We view this event as early recognition of the leaders of our community tomorrow. And the fact that they are taken from all of our secondary schools and are judged not only on academic achievement but on the quality of the persons themselves give us every confidence that these will be our leaders tomorrow.
I'm going to ask you to stand with me and join in the singing of the national anthem, after which we would like the recipients to come forward to take a group photo for the media, for the newspaper, and I want you to put on your best smile. We'll do all three verses.
Okay, as we stand to attention. St. Vincent land so beautiful, with joyful hearts we pledge to thee our loyalty and love, and vow to keep you ever free. Whate'er the future brings, our faith will see us through. May peace reign from shore to shore, and God bless and keep us true. High Roon, our fair and blessed isle, your mountains high, so clear and green, are home to me. Though I may stray, a haven calm,
misery. Whate'er the future brings, our faith will see us through. May peace reign from shore to shore, and God bless and keep us true. Our little sister islands are those gems, the lovely grenadines upon their seas, and golden sands the sunshine ever beams. Whate'er the future brings, our faith will see us through. May peace reign from shore to shore, and God bless and keep us true.
I'm going to ask you to put your hands together for all of the recipients, our speakers, and for the Rotary Club of Kingstown, and for those who have contributed to this afternoon's event and has made it such a wonderful success. And I wish to encourage all of those of you who have received bank books with monies in it that you will go to the bank regularly and make a deposit. I say to my young people and to members of my family, pay yourself first. No matter how much you're making, if you save consistently, you'll find that it will build over time.